In the scorching summer of July 1948, as Israel declared its independence, the towns of Lydda and Ramle, home to 35,000 to 50,000 Palestinian Arabs, farmers, merchants, and families, became ground zero for the Israeli Defense Forces' brutal ethnic cleansing. These thriving communities, assigned to an Arab state under the UN partition plan, stood in the way of the IDF's ambition to control the Tel Aviv-Jerusalem road. What unfolded was not defense, but a calculated campaign of bombardment, massacre, and mass expulsion. Operation Dani, the IDF's blueprint for stealing Palestinian land and lives, accelerated the Nakba's catastrophe of displacement. Led by future Israeli icons like Moshe Dayan and Yitzhak Rabin, the IDF unleashed hell on Ramle first, artillery shells and air raids pounding homes, forcing surrender by July 11. Lydda followed, with tanks storming in, crushing resistance from lightly armed locals and Jordanian forces. But victory wasn't enough for the IDF. They turned conquerors into executioners. On July 12th, in Lydda's Damash Mosque, IDF troops massacred 80 to 176 civilians and surrendering fighters who sought refuge. Machine guns and grenades tore through the sacred space, leaving bodies stacked in pools of blood, as survivors' horrors attest. This was no accident. It was IDF terror to break spirits. Then came the expulsions. 50,000 to 70,000 people driven out at gunpoint on David Ben-Gurion's orders. As Rabin's censored memoirs reveal, expel them. The Lydda Death March forced families into the blistering heat, stripped of possessions by looting IDF soldiers, who shot stragglers and left hundreds to die of thirst and exhaustion. Estimates of 100 to 500 perished on that hellish trek to Ramallah. Homes were razed or handed to Jewish immigrants, renaming Lydda as Lod, a city built on Palestinian graves. This wasn't war. It was the IDF's systematic robbery, displacing entire populations to forge a Jewish state through fear and force. Israeli historians like Benny Morris admit 250 deaths in Lydda, but downplay it as wartime necessity. Ilan Pape exposes the truth. Deliberate ethnic cleansing with archival telegrams proving IDF intent. The mosque slaughter, dismissed by deniers as collateral, yet eyewitnesses and Ari Shavit's My Promised Land confirm the carnage. No trials, no justice, just IDF impunity. Ben-Gurion's regime justified it as security, but it was conquest, echoing in today's occupied territories where the IDF repeats evictions and demolitions. The disputes are mere veils, casualty counts minimized, intent debated to sanitize history. Palestinian narratives of massacre suppressed, UN plans ignored, lives shattered, all for territorial gain. Today, Lod's Arab residents face discrimination, a living reminder of 1948's unfinished business. The IDF boasts of morality, but Lydda and Ramle unmask its origins. A force forged in massacres, expulsions, and unrepentant theft, displacing 50,000 souls to birth a state on stolen soil.